Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Junwoo Chang from the Asset Management Planning team of the Korea Securities Depository. And I'm very delighted to deliver this presentation today. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to explain how FundNet began and has evolved as a unique one-stop networking platform for the Korean fund industry. First of all, I'd like to walk you through FundNet's background and contribution to the growth of the Korean fund market. And I will tell you a recent crisis caused by privately placed fund frauds and the follow-up legal amendments. After that, I'm going to talk about how to support the growth of private funds and some of the expected benefits. Lastly, I will briefly touch on our new platform called VentureNet before moving on to a Q&A session. All right, then let's get started. Before the inception of FundNet, there was no central platform to connect market players and process post-trade instructions. So market players had to contact each other by phone, post, or email whenever there was a transaction. At the time, the Korean fund market had several issues. The first issue was what it called as the spaghetti problem. Back then, the numerous contacts between market players were mixed up like noodles, which often brought about delays, mistakes, and failures in the market. However, what made matters worse was the backlog in the back office. The heavy reliance on manual operations eventually led to a paper crisis. In addition, there were too many regulations that simply caused confusion and disorder in the market. But after FundNet was launched, the messy links between market players have been much streamlined, and the post-trade processes are now fully automated in compliance with simple standards. The savings in time and cost have affected the Korean fund market positively. Now the market is way more efficient with fewer operational risks, higher reliability, and transparency. Now let me give you more details about the contribution of FundNet to market. We offer the following services both in the primary and secondary market. The subscription and redemption services we provide are the core of the primary market. We also support the secondary market with various services, including trade confirmation, delivery of instruction, DVP settlement, and fund-by-fund deposit. As you can see in this slide, FundNet serves a trusted central platform that links everyone in the market, such as asset managers, distributors, trustees, brokers, and administrators. FundNet also supports offshore fund distribution and trade matching via interlinks with global service providers. Here are some stats for you to consider. In the early 2000s, the amount of assets under management, or AUM, barely changed. But after FundNet went live, the scale of AUM has steadily increased, except for the 2008 global financial crisis. So in 2020, the total AUM stood at over $577 billion, which is 270% growth from $156 billion in 2004, when FundNet was first introduced. In addition, as of August 2021, the total number of FundNet users exceeded 600. All in all, the Korean fund market has grown exponentially on the back of FundNet. The AUM of private funds has sharply increased since 2016 because of the regulations on asset managers and market expansion. At the end of 2020, the private fund AUM reached $363 billion, and the number of funds was near 10,000. However, in 2019 and 2020, there were big fund fraud cases caused by some asset management companies, which led to a massive delay of redemption. These scandals not only brought a huge financial damage for individual investors, but also greatly undermined the market trust in private market. From here, I want to explain how to rescue the private fund market moving forward. The first step would be to revisit legal grounds and amend the relevant laws and regulations. In response, the Korea Financial Regulator, the Financial Services Commission, or FSC, amended the Financial Investment Services and Capital Market Act, and the legal changes were executed on October 21st, 2021. The essence of the regulatory reform was to strengthen investor protection, to improve efficiencies in market, establish appropriate rules and regulations, and expand the supply of venture capital. The goal of such a reform is basically to make the market transparent and safeguard investors. The following FSC's reform plan, KSD has upgraded FundNet to better support the private fund market. So what's called as Fund Asset Reconciliation System is now added to FundNet. Thanks to such functional upgrades, asset managers and trustees on FundNet can browse through and reconcile asset details in real time. This new system change went into effect in June this year, and the full system upgrade will be applied next spring. Our preventive measures against fund scams will create several benefits for the customers, market, and policymakers. Firstly, customers can cross-check critical trading information more easily and thereby strengthen their internal control and risk management. Secondly, market trust will be much restored as we foster the transparency of private fund trading and the accountability of relevant parties. Last but not least, the government can facilitate the investment of venture capitalists and promote more efficient regulatory policies. This extra page is included here to show you our newly launched platform called VentureNet. VentureNet went live this month and modeled after FundNet. It aims to support the securities issuance and the management of venture companies. VentureNet will make the venture capital market much more efficient and transparent by directly connecting venture companies. Thriving with the VC industry, we hope VentureNet will establish itself as another central innovative financial platform. Unfortunately, this brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Junwoo Chang. That was very interesting presentation, and I have a couple of questions to you. So I guess you mentioned something about that, but still, could you please clarify, has the reform helped restore private investor confidence in funds?
Excuse me. So you mentioned how we restored the market trust in private fund.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first step was done from the financial regulator, the FSC in Korea, to amend the appropriate act and laws. And second, we also supported to cross-check the system to check the real asset is real in both sides. For example, the trustee and asset management company. So by doing that, the individual investors can trust the assets are well deposited and well organized. So our action will be done even next year to finalize that, adding the more functions there. So these efforts will be very helpful to restore the market trust.
Okay, thank you so much. And one more question. Is it obligatory by law to have this single platform that you have, and for all the participants and intermediaries to connect to this platform? So are you the single provider of this kind of services on the market?
Yes, exactly. So Funded is a very strong, unique single platform. So we want to add more functions on this kind of this single platform. It seems like kind of good highway. It be very helpful for the market players as well.
All right. So yes, it makes much easier for all the intermediaries, I mean, asset managers, etc., to connect to one single platform if it's established by law. So it is much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well done, and thank you very much for your time and joining us. And we hope to see you on our next event. So thank you very much. See you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening.